let's go over Hilchas Erev Pesach and the Dini of Leila Seder, the Shiurim, etc. And let's start. The first thing is Erev Pesach. Chazal have weggestellt some Masechta Soifrim that Bechorim fast. Anyone who is a Bechor has to fast since the Rebbeinu Shalom made a nest, and the Rebbeinu Shalom made a nest and killed all the Bechorim Mitzrayim and saved Bechorim Yisrael. So the Rebbeinu Shalom, so Chazal have weggestellt some Yerushalmi that all the Bechorim has to fast. Sai either the Bechor, a Bechor for the mother, the first born by the mother, and not necessarily the first born by the father, and also a person which is first born by father. Now, although by Pidin Aben, the halacha is only a Pidin Aben you make if he's the first by his mother. Peter Rechem, he opens the mother's womb. That means this is dafke the mother. That means if a person, the wife had already a child, and she remarried with a guy who never had a child and had a child, although he's a Bechor L'Nachla, but Bapidin Aben goes on the Rechem. Nevertheless, when it comes to Tanas Bechorim, we say every Bechor has to fast, even though he's not Peter Rechem like Bapidin Aben, if he has any halucha of a Bechor. Now, if a person is the firstborn by his father, although he's not the firstborn by his mother, he's still a Bechor L'Nachla. He will take Pishnayim, yes, because it goes according to the father. So therefore, all of the Bechorim which has any halachas Bechor, you have to fast, and it is, and that will also go if a person is a kohen, a person is alive. Although again, it's not connected to Pesach Habar. Even we'll get a minute. What do you say?
This fast starts already in the midbar.
If this fast,
It started in the days of the midbar. It doesn't say.
Doesn't say yes. It's chungam from them. No. Doesn't say. Yerushalmi brings this up, but it doesn't say if it went all the way till then. Yeah, it's very interesting that the Ziditshoiver, the Hershel Ziditshoiver, he made away this whole very interesting thing because it's a Yerushalmi, some Sechta Sofram, but he said the Yerushalmi said Hamechoyres misanim, they fast. And he says it's a mistake. He has to say, Hamachoyrim is angim. They are rejoice because they say, what kind of Indian is such a thing as fasting? Okay, they should be happy that they were. So this is what he says. But nevertheless, we don't pass. There's a Shulchan Aruch, and Shulchan Aruch says clearly that we have to fast, and therefore we have to fast. Now, a person which has a child which is a Bechor, till the child becomes 13, he fasts himself. The father fasts. Or a kapurim, we'll see what if he has a siyam, but a kapurim, it's his choiv. The choiv is on the father for the child, which is also a bechor. Now, what is if the father is a bechor and he has a child a bechor and is on the bar mitzvah? Yeah. So steigt in the poiskem, the mother should fast. The mother should fast. But lamasa, it's not the minig like that. Let me make it clear. It's not the minig like that because the regular fasts. We are Michael van Nushim Kolshk in such a case, but this will not be, it's not the minik. Now, the kid should hear a siyam, or? Yeah, it's in the kid should hear a siyam, or even the father should have a siyam. Yeah, we're going to get to the Hilchas Siyam now, and we'll come to a few interesting halachas. Now, the minig is that we rely on a siyam masechta. Now, we know a siyam masechta is a zach, which is be'emas a chushev zach. As I brought one of the Siyimim that the Samach Mem, his full name is Samach Mem Aleph Lamed, and steht in the Sfurim Akdoishim that what's the Rishatayv is a Samach Mem Aleph Lamed. Siyam Masechta Ein Lasses. You should make a Siyam Masechta because a Siyam Masechta has a very powerful thing. And according to Allah, when you make a Siyam Masechta, you're not going to say Tachlan even. Mamash Azoy, tell it to sender, because we should know Siyam is a big thing. So the master, we rely on this what is it called? Tanas, we rely if you hear a siyam, that should be fine. Now, what is if you're going to a bris or pidin aben? Is we poskim lamaisa, we're going to rely if you have a bris you eat from Siddur Mitzvah, that will be fine. Although the Regis Aboisam, makes a chilik, he says, Dafka Siyam, not a brace and a Pidder Ben, but Lamasa, we will rely on the Poisk, which say that you could rely on a Pidder Ben and a brace, and you don't have to fast. Now, even you don't have to make a Siyam yourself. If you are here a Siyam for someone else, and you eat from the Siyam, that's the Iker important Rishon here. You should eat from the Siddur Mitzvah. Once you eat from the Siddur Mitzvah, then you could eat the rest of the day. But when you come in shul, you want to eat for the siyam, you hear a siyam, you know you can have a siyam, you cannot drink a coffee for davening because till you hear the siyam is a choiv of fasting. You have to fast. It is only after you have the siyam, even though if you didn't have the siyam, then make this do chiddush. Even if you didn't have the siyam at eitzim, but you are participating in a siddur mitzvah, then it is also a siyam and it's fine.
Someone came after and the Rabbi is sitting there
and the oilem asked, then. But Michael gave him by the union. But I asked Siddur Mitzvah. The what? Verbais heißt Asuda, Siddur Mitzvah. Now there are places like Minkach was a kapaida that you should wash. Takasim says it should be washed. But the Masa minig oilem again, the minig is stronger than a lot of other things, and the minig is that you eat Oberlanders macaroons with a little bit of grape juice. That's the minig all the doires. Now the minig changed a little bit. You eat also Afikoyman. There's a new company, but we grew up all with Oberlanders macaroons, ladyfingers. That was the minig with a little bit of grape juice. That's enough for a siyam.
People still need to be there, or even like
so what?
People still need to be eating, or even if it's left.
L'choire darf sein Siddur Mitzvah. You know, it's nicht gegessen. Tage when the oil messed. A Bachar, which is a cotton, he himself is Messiah, zung the poskim, that's good enough. If you learned, Taka and gelernt Masechte, and you learned it, it's good for him, it's good for all other people too. Mama shall say what? A kind macht am Masim, aber versteht. Now, there are people who learn Dafayoimi in the car, which basically, they listen to Shiurim. Listen to Shiurim, and could you make a siyum or not? So, Reb Chaim Kanievsky writes in one of his books that is good enough. So, not everybody agrees with it, but again, since this siyum, this whole tanas is a light tanas that, you know, but just by eating the siyum Masechta via Michael, hast opposite bezug that you could rely on it. If somebody learned the whole Masechta through a magachir by driving in to the work, listening to Masechta, that should be fine and it's good enough.
They say the same thing in the 9 days?
We talk now Tanas.
Remember the question.
No, you remember the question then. It's a little bit different then. But then was the Yibus Vayayin is Uzi Medina. It's a little bit okay. So that's the Hilchas of Tanas, and anybody who is a Bachar or has a child who is a Bachar should make sure to be on time in Zaham Basi Masechta and not eat and drink anything before he has a Sima Masechta, and then he's good to go. If not, he should fast the whole day. The Rebbe used to fast Erev. The Rebbe gave Bachar. The Rebbe used to fast Erev. He didn't rely on Siyam. The Rebbe fasted the Erev Pesach. Now, what?
We went to see him anyways.
Fine, but the Rebbe would fast. Now, the halacha is Osar Lasas Malucha Gemura Erev Pesach L'achar Chatzos. It's also to make a Malucha after Chatzos. Malucha means something what you do. That means sewing, washing laundry, taking a haircut. All these things is Osar Medina to do after Chatzos. So therefore, everyone who needs to, not need to, should, who needs to take a haircut, which the halacha is, by the way, it's halacha, it's a chiyuv, that you have to take a haircut for Yom Tov. So we'll get. If everybody's a chiyuv to take a haircut of Yom Tov, as the Chazal wanted they should take a haircut for Yom Tov, they made an issa to take a haircut in Chalamoy. Why? If I'm going to allow you that you should come, you should take a haircut at Chalamoy, then people do not work, then we'll take a haircut. So the Chazal, no. Chalamoy is awesome, and you'll have to take a haircut at Yom Tov. It's a choiv Medina to take a haircut. But people should remember, Erev Shviyah, so the Erev Sukkot you can take all day. Erev Pesach, Chatzos, you cannot make a haircut anymore, because it's a Malucha Gemira. Begoy, Aledagoy, Keman. So this year is not a big problem, but I remember 1 year, it was a Sunday, Pesach was Monday, and Erev Pesach was Sunday, and all the barbers were closed. And sie gewähnen Menschen, and gewähnen, this is a kapunem, you should know that.
Doesn't the Rambam say not to get a haircut by day?
Not to take?
Not to get a haircut by day.
Yeah, okay, but dort the chashash wegen skuna, wegen et hargen, aber today's day we don't have this problem.
Can you take the night before?
You can take the night before, yes?
Make it count as Arab there?
Yeah.
Once together before, a week before.
You can take even a day, you can take a few days before. Yeah, nogmaals, das ist schon kann, if you don't have somebody else, you take it. Da kapunem, man darf umkommen in Yontav, nicht mit größer Hut. That's the kid. So therefore, again, machna maloch is also, I go and make. So therefore, also laundry. You cannot wash laundry after chatzos. If you have a goyta in your house, she could wash your laundry. There's a killer which we have, although chalamoid, the halacha of Erev Pesach and chalamoid are most the same. Shdukt with the Alter Rebbe, it's a little bit lenient that Erev Pesach are making when they goy. So therefore, although chalamoid you cannot wash laundry even through a goy, but Erev Yontiv you could wash through a goy. So if you forgot to wash laundry, your goy could still wash it, but not. Your wife cannot wash laundry then. What is the geder of Beloch Gemira? Steht in the Pasuk again, washing, taking a haircut, sewing. But I had last year a shaila. I started gemitched till Baruch Hashem. Today I found in one of the achronim I was looking. It's very popular. People buy dresses, people buy robes, and it's a little bit too long, it's a little bit too short. Could you hem it or not? Is ich medayim from the Alter Rebbe lechoyre amazal megen, but I didn't have it clear. Somebody should write it because sof it's a new thing. So if it's a new thing, maybe it's running the geder of Gemurche Gemire. But today I found one of the malaktim bring one of the poiskim which say Friedige poiskim which say that if it is ready to wear like this, although you want to hem it to make it shorter or make it a little longer, kemivn don't leave it till after chatzos. But lamaise, if you did it, you left it till there. And you want it should be ready, you should be able to do it more properly, then it's not a problem to hem it. What is mitter after chatzos? Anything which is mitter chalamoid, thing which is dover ovet, which is if you're not going to do it, you're going to lose money. Not you're not going to get, you're going to lose money. Or another thing is it's called mas hedyet. That means putting on a kneppel. You make it. It's not a professional. If you don't put it the final through and through like you do chalamoid. This you could do also Erev Pesach Acher Chatzos, but it has to be Tzorech Moed. But putting on a kneppel is when you put it regularly and you finish it. The last thing after you turn it around, you pull it again through again. That's how you do professional kneppel. Chalamoid you cannot do that. Chalamoid you put it back, but it has to be that it should be so not loose, but it should be easy. It should fall down. So that's my mas edit. Gives all kind of tziirim, how to. But a kneppel is the easiest thing, which we know that it shouldn't be the last straw. It should, in a way that it wouldn't last, till Chanukah.
Can you sharpen knives?
So what?
Sharpen knives?
Yeah, sharpen knives in Ishkan. Also, you could sharpen knives in Ishkan. Is and also you can make a prakamati zochmita. That means person who sells stuff. The groceries are open after. Even dry goods could be open after chatzos. This prakamati is not a malucha. This is yomita letzorech hamoed kemiv. So again, any store is going to be opened after chatzos is because it's tzorech hamoed. What? In Yontav Yah. Chalamoid nicht. Okay, so he asked before, what is it?
Computer, so that's not
The what?
working on a computer. So anything, any kind of work.
In a person who does make a malacha is the eine roya sima brucha in that master. So you should remember, you're going to work extra because you want to make extra dollar. You're going to lose it somewhere else. So the Rebbe, what is my roya sima brucha? Even if you made some money, you're going to lose it somewhere else. So
Meaning this is by malach.
this is always. Sachen wir usar.
Right.
Yeah.
But after Chatzos, it's a yontiv. You should wear in kapata.
This is too. Yeah. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
so they call
Yeah.
it yontiv.
That's the reason why taka. He brought up why the reason taka that is such a thing that only Erev Pesach is a problem because the b'shazan the Mesmigdish Hoikayim when a person brought a korban that day was yontiv shaloi. Didn't say tachnan. That was his yontiv. That's one of the reasons the Rebbe explains why we don't say tachnan and nisna. because the Nisim brought a korban, and the halacha is the day which a person brings a korban, it's a yontav. So therefore, every of the day was a yontav for Other Shevet. So klal Yisrael is kalalas. So when a person brings a korban, it's a yontav. You can't make a malucha that day. So over here, since Bachatzos, you could bring a red the korban Pesach. So therefore, from Chatzos to Mishmach and Kamalucha. Now, before Chatzos, that's the famous Mishnah Peri Book of Hagi. Depends on the minute. There are places which you don't make it. Even in the morning. There's it's totally mukrish. If it's a place where that's the minig, you cannot make a malucha over there. If it's a place where there is the minig, you could make a malucha. The Maasa, today's day is dachts mar da chronim zugen, es heißt a mukrish nagi was mit a minig. Also ich meine, also is the clue. The Maasa, till chatzos you can make a malucha. What's doing about cutting nails? He brought up cutting nails. Now cutting nails is a zoy. Some machloikas of the Terezuah, the Mungavruam, with the Primegud, with andere Poiskem, if you are permitted to cut nails or not. Lamasa, zug the Altrebes, the Achrua is that leketchila you should cut before Chatzos, but if you forgot, happens to be you forgot, then you could still do it after Chatzos. So again, leketchila you cut your nails before Chatzos, because the Poiskem say you could do it leketchila after Chatzos. But by the Eved, then you could rely on the poiskim and you could cut your nails. If you make your shoes, polishing the shoes does not go into the geder of malocha, and it's okay. Fine. Now there's a halacha also that you cannot eat after shu asiris. That means afternoon, erev Pesach afternoon. You cannot eat only a little bit, because the Chazal wanted that you should eat the matzah letayuvim. You should be hungry when you eat the matzah l'tiyuvin. And by the way, the same halacha goes, Alter Rebbe writes in Chasika, the same halacha goes also Sikha, because the halacha, the first night of Sikha and the first night of Pesach has it with the Gzayre Shuvah. So the Alter Rebbe, since in the Erev Pesach there's halacha, you cannot eat shurashishis. The same is also, you cannot eat a lot, you can't fill up your stomach. That means in Shechanur you can eat pairis v'yerukas and a little bit of fish and meat. And I want to stress it because a lot of people, before this man, because there's going to be a seder. Again, it's not a poshta zach that you should eat really. You should come, take a real hungry to the kzayis matzah, the vizaf tzazan. Now, matzah is also in Medina, it's a halacha. The minig will not to eat matzah 30 days is only a minig. But the day of Erev Yom Kippur, Erev Pesach, is also in Medina to eat matzah. So even for a child, we don't give matzah. And even drinking wine, is the Shechanur Shtayt a little bit you could, a lot you can't. Lamaisa, the minig is we don't drink wine all Erev Pesach, and also even grape juice, not same thing.
You say with the siyam in the morning.
In the morning drink man, but once it gets they sit Matzad Alucha is no Meshushi is Meshu Asir is Veilig.
Also wine.
Oh yeah, but Lamasa in the minig is be'etzem the all day. Ja, aber la Masse habe ich gesehen, haben wir gegeben Grebes bei Mados. Meshua Siris.
The afternoon, the last part of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's Shiur weiter. Shua Siris. Shua Siris is about 3 o'clock, that's something like that. In the meaning is anything which goes into Chorosis, we don't eat. We don't eat pears, we don't eat anything which goes into Chorosis, we don't eat Erev Yontav. What? In the Kaira, yeah.
Not everything is a kaira.
Chorosis, Murer, all these things, lettuce, you don't eat, all these things which go in. What?
So Mara, Chorosis, but you can still have the egg, you can still have potatoes.
And this is no mitzvah.
Yeah.
It's not everything in the kaira. The mitzvah.
Okay, so I don't know if people bake over here matzahs Erev Pesach matzahs, but if anybody bakes matzahs, which usually is chaburas, you have to make sure to take challah. Regular matzahs is everything is systematic, the challah. But when it comes to chaburas, a lot of times people forget. It's a problem. Make sure if anybody is going to eat by chabura, make sure it's taking challah. Okay, now another thing is, it's also to make achona, a very important halacha. People do not know that. It's also to make achona from day 1 to day 2. So you cannot prepare anything Yom Tov the first days for the second days. Now, if people want to go to their in-laws, which lives a few blocks away, and they don't want to go motzi after this man. So usually they want to take the stuff from after, when you go to the see this but they want to take everything along at night. You cannot do that. You cannot do this. Achuna to Yom Aleph Yom Mais is us in Medina. People do not realize. I don't know if I hear it so practically because people do not have the shvers right next door or the in-laws. If something they are in their house, but you don't go like. But I'm talking about the Chassidish Oilem was this is Yontev is you go. So people go to see the Sayom first days. And they want to, I should go home and go back, from 13th Avenue all the way till 18th Avenue, and from 60th to 45. It's a lot of big walk. So they want to bring the stuff. You can't bring any stuff from today for the next day. Only the second day for the Shabbos this year we will be able to do because we are going to make Erev Toshil. People should not forget, you have to make Erev Toshil this year before Yontav because it is 3 days Yontav. Then you could make for Shabbos, because you made the Erev. Other than that, you cannot make Achana. And it's good to know also for Shluchim. Shluchim sometimes, they want to prepare right, in the morning after the Suda, because at night it's going to be a public Seder. You can't do that. And even through a go, you know, so again, we should remember this halacha. Everything which you do, you cannot do. All of the things which you need for the Seder, you should try to do Erev Yontov. That means you should make salt water, and you should make the chrein, and burn, fry, not fry, what do you call it, roast, the zroya, all these things, you got to do Erev Yontov, because the Shechanor Shtay, they come home right away, everything should be ready for the Seder. Not then start preparing all these things. Chitz b'neim, was Yontav align is do inyanas because you make Salzwasser. You forget to make Salzwasser. You can make Friday night, first night, but you cannot make enough. It should be for the second night because again, that's already a chana. So then you have to make only a little bit for day one, not for day two. So therefore, you make it Erev Yontav. Everything you prepare Erev Yontav, and there you have no headaches of halacha how to do it. The problem, you know what the problem is? The problem is if you forgot to burn the zroya. So now you can do it only for one day. And what do you do then? You cannot eat it. You cannot eat it. You cannot cast the shessen. Yeah? We have to eat it the next day. If you make it a Yom Tov, it has to be for that day, for Yom Tov. That's why it's so important, the Zroya.
It's not considered for Yom Tov that you...
No, you have to make it for eating it.
It has to be a
but you don't eat it.
Roasted to eat it.
Yes, so therefore...
Roasted so that it should be roasted on
so therefore, in such a case, the day morning you should eat as roya. The day you should eat as roya. If you made it in the Yom Tov, the minik Chabad, you have an issue, but mitzad halucha, you have to. This is in
the morning.
If you made it on Yom Tov, if you made it Friday, there's no problem. That's why I'm just bringing out why you should make it every Friday. Erev Yom Tov, because if not, you have going into problems.
In the morning.
You have to. At night is also. You have to. You're going to be fleishig. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. You have to have something. Apples, it's not binding. It's not only bones. It's not only bones. You have to nehmen. Nicht hast du gerostet Yom Tov shloile tzorich. So therefore, again, make a note. Erev Yom Tov, it's doable. And believe me. This is Shaila was macht sich. People forget, man vergessen those. Make a list, a checklist, be organized, and everything will be fine. And again, if you didn't make the grind, how do you call it? Grind it. Yeah, you have to do it Shabbos, but machini. Yeah, it's problematic. Do it every Erev Yom and finished.
So the Zoya, you can't just have it left over. You made it for the first night, that's it.
You burn it for the first night, you have to eat it. You have to eat it.
It's sitting there, you'll just...
You have to eat it. As gebruten Yom Tov, kann man nicht nur zurück euch am Nefesh. And if you don't eat it, hast du getira Isser.
Even if you only did it for the first night.
Saying you're not allowed,
why did you do it?
You're not allowed to roast it if it's not to eat.
Yeah.
But you can you have goyim over? It's the same issue, you can't cook for them?
No, that's a second problem. You can have goyim by this. A separate problem. Yom Tov.
But she has a
It's a big problem. It's a big problem of Yom Tov. That's a problem. That's every Yom Tov. Shabbos is much more easier.
What do you do? Yom Tov. Just don't disinvite them.
Disinvite them.
leading us from deeper.
The poskim have a whole shaila.
Both not Jewish.
I had this week I had a shaila from a shliach if he could invite a goy which is on the verge of, it's not a shliach that he's a rov in Detroit. Nishkan Alabavitcher. Rov he calls a lot. So he asked me, I have a shaila. Somebody wants to invite a yid, a goy, but he's on the verge of becoming a ger. What could you do? So B'cham Geshikta, Shlomo Zalman and Eliashiv speak about it and says that you could, but you have to make sure all the food is prepared before Yom Tov. You have to prepare.
If you're having a goy,
If you're having a goy, you
on
can't
it.
cook a Yom Tov. You can't cook a Yom Tov.
Meaning that normally you can invite
A goy, even if it's
Even if
cooked,
you cook
even if
before.
you cook before Yom Tov, exactly. Yeah. Okay, weiter. By us, the minig is you put your madlik nair, Yom Tov, by this man. Yeah, you like this man, madlik nair Yom Tov, you make a shechiyonu, that's us the minig, and tell for the wife when she has a chiyonu, she have the kavana of the chiyonu of all the mitzvahs which is going to be during the night because they're having a lot of mitzvahs, and the shechiyonu should be on that, and we have it in Zin by Och Bakiddish, the shechiyonu should be on the mitzvahs, matzah should be a shechiyonu of all other mitzvahs should be in them. And we light the candles Erev Yom Tov. Why do I stress it? Because a big oil, maybe the majority of the Chassidish oil, the Polish oil, do not light Erev. They light Yom Tov since you could light the light before the Seder. But again, our minig is you light Erev Shabbos by this man. Chid the first night. Second night you cannot. Second night you have to wait till at night. Yes. The what?
To have everything in mind.
Ich weiß nicht, Alter, aber ich denke nicht jetzt, aber der Post kommt so.
Put him, it says clearly. How come on the Pesach? I don't remember that it says that.
Aber in the Post kommt so
Out
this
there it
clear.
says that the Shechiyonu also goes on the beer chum, on the Bigas chum.
Auch da muss ich es kommen. Ja. Ich denke, in der Shechnurig ist es der Mann. Ich denke, es steht nach gut. Yeah, you have to look up.
If someone's staying at home but having to stay there somewhere else,
Yeah.
where should they lie?
In any case, you have the same issue every Shabbos. Now, you lie there and you're going.
Coming home earlier usually.
No, you lie by the sides.
Where you're gonna
You should lie by where you're going to eat. Yeah, you should lie where you're going to eat. Dalat koises. Yeah, you have dalat koises. What?
You have to have at home.
No, once you have light, it's good. Because remember, we went through the shirim now. If it's in a home, it's only shlo yikushel because you don't need it. Shlo yikushel is anytime when you have light, that's enough. Yain lekiddish. Let's go over a little bit of wine on the side of nacht. The halacha of yain of the arba koises is the same halacha of yain lekiddish, with slight difference, but more or less the same halacha. What is the halacha yain lekiddish? And I want to make it very clear because a lot of people have mistakes over here. There's a machloikes of the Rambam and the Ravid. If you could have wine which has sugar. Noch einmal, in the Beis Mikdash you couldn't have wine which has davash. Kol chol so'or, kol davash lo yisektir meni ishel Hashem. Zuge prima gudam, any zucker, any sugar is the same halacha as davash. So you cannot, either according to the Rambam, you cannot have any wine which is added sugar. The own sugar kimiven, that's wine. But added sugar, you cannot eat it. You cannot drink it. It's not yours. Any sweetener cannot be used for kiddush and for dalat kois. The shit is Rambam. The Ravid, Paskend is okay. The Machaber, in Shulchan brings both diets. Beide diets bring through the Rambam, bring through the Ravid. And therefore the Svardam will be machmer not to use wine which has sugar. The Remu is Michael. So tell me the Remu, what?
Water.
No,
Add water.
at one is a problem. That's yain. Yain Moses. We are talking about the vash. This is user in Basiming Shom Shket Maknas on the vash. So therefore, that's called anaya is such. Add on, yeah. Now water, miyain music. Again, we have to know what, where, how much. But water is not a problem.
Does wine use sugar?
What?
Does wine that you
A lot of wines have sugar. And there's a list. Kaden gives out the list. In case it gives out now a list. I got it today also. Case it gives out a list, which one has added sugar or not. Now again, let me make it clear. The Remu Paskend, wieder Ravid, that you could use it only if it's the same. If you don't like other better. That means a person which likes the sweet wine doesn't like the non-sweet wine, he could take the sweet wine. But if a person has no issue, sweet and non-sweet, is by him the same, then Zug the Remu in such a case take one which doesn't have wine because Hastashit is Rambam. So Me'ikar Adin, we are going according to the Ravat. But it's kedai zuk the Ramu if you don't have something which you like better, because drinking something which you like is a very important thing in halacha. So therefore, if you like a specific wine, then you could have even have added sugar. But if for you it doesn't make a difference, you have no preference, take one which doesn't have sugar. Das is legaba sugar. So again, if you have two wines, which one has added sugar, one do not have added sugar, although both could be the same taste because both are sweet. But this is you played around with the sugar. That means you didn't ferment, you stop it by 5.5%, whatever it should be. So it's more sugary, or it depends, it's a harvest grape, it's more sugary. And then take one which is not added sugar, then it is sugar. Now let's go to Yaim Avishal. And that's also important to know. It's also important to know because people are constantly busy with Yaim Avishal. The same goes with Yaim Avishal. Yaim Avishal is, the Rambam holds Yaim Avishal, kemen machen Kiddush in Kandalat Koises. The Machaba Paskin, you cannot make Kiddush in Dalat Koises, Yaim Avishal. This is how the Svardim do. The Ramu says, we Paskin, you could make a Yaim Avishal. But only if there is a preference. That means if you have two wines, one is Yaim Avishal, one is Yat Yaim Avishal, but you like that Yaim Avishal. You like Bar Tanura wine, yeah, which is Yaim Avishal, or you like a lot of other wines, which is Mavishal. And then take the Mevushal rather than take the non-Mevushal. But if you have no preference, you have the same wine, which today's day you have the same wine, but one is Mevushal, one is non-Mevushal. Same is also with grape juice, we're going to see in a minute. Same is going to be grape juice. Today you have grape juice, the bigger bottles, smaller bottles, all these things, which some are Mevushal, some are not Mevushal. Such a case, take the non-Mevushal. But if you have a wine which is basically you like better, then the Mevushal is not an issue over here. And I want to say it constantly because I have mentioned über the Welt for so eine Janke Yaim Avishal. Again, it's alles feine Wohl if you don't have a preference. And if you don't have by the Seder, or you don't have Shabbos by the Seder, people which are problematic in Yiddishkeit, Chil Shabbos, then take a Yaim Avishal, at least by us Ashkenazim, and rather than that, then you have a problem of Yain Nesach.
Or you could cover it with paper bag.
Fine, okay, but then happens when you make Kiddush and he looks into the cross, which happens, which is not the norm basically. I have the same thing also by Simchas. I every year, I have family Simchas, and I always tell them, you're making a big problem. You're bringing not Yaim Avishal in a bag. Yeah, because you want to frame not Yaim Avishal. And the waiters are going around. Was ist aufgetein? No. And the wine, mamash? No, through the bar is the minik. Aber looking in the, noch einmal, mit der Rest, mit der Dina, verstehe ich. Aber the minik is, it steht in Schlu, means when it's not through a bar. So not through a bar, so bis macht man auf eine Sache. So therefore, people should realize. Yeah, because the Yaim Avishal, that's why Yaim Avishal is miyasach. Why is it Yaim Avishal is not miyasach? Because in Basimish it couldn't make in Nisach. So therefore, so therefore, again, this is the Nikida. If you have no preference, you have the same grape juice, take one which is not Mavishal. If you have a preference, take one which is basically
What about the level of alcohol?
No difference. As long as alcohol, it's no problem. No, it doesn't have no. You don't have to get chicken.
His preference is a smaller cup, more alcohol.
We'll get all the smaller cup because we think let's just.
It doesn't have to be like 7%, 10%.
No, no. It's wine again. Even mitzanovim. Let's go. Even grape juice. You don't want to go now to grape juice. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you.
It's a hinder, but you're yoitz.
I'll tell you what the nikida. The loch is. Let me make it clear. Mitz anuvim is kushel lekiddish il avdula in the dalet kois. Let me make it clear before we go further. Now, kemiven in Slobavich Chassidim, was ins weiß mit der Rebbe gesucht, dass Kiddush macht man avan. Fine. Man redt yes alucha. You have to remember we're talking about alucha, and we're talking about in Chassidim. Weiß what we have to do. But when you're talking about women, you're talking about children, you're talking about people who cannot take wine. Mitz anuvim is kushe lekiddish. Alucha a ferische gemura. Soiche du dem eshkel anuvim, squeeze out eshkel anuvim, and you could make of them kiddush. Also steht in alucha. People say you cannot make of grape juice because it cannot become wine. Eshkel anuvim is kvisos most, which is called in Yiddish most. You can make because it could become wine. But regular grape juice is already processed, whatever, so it cannot become wine. So therefore, it's also. It's also to make Kiddush Avlola. The answer to this is, I spoke with Kedem, one of the herzogs, and it tells me, it's a baloney gazach. First of all, the grape juice could become wine. When we don't have enough wine, we play around with the grape. Everything could become wine. Don't worry. You have to know what to do. But it has to be real grape juice, cannot be concentrated. This you have to make clear. Not concentrated. Real grape juice, you could be yoitza. Now, people will say, the famous Rabbi Yehuda drank wine by Pesach, and he had headaches till Shavuos. So why didn't he drink Esklanovim? The answer is, where does not everywhere grows grapes. There is places where grapes grow. You don't have grapes, all over. Grapes is in Hungary, Tokai. That's why there's Tokai wine. Tokai is the place where wine grows. And at Yisrael there's Kiryat Arba. It has to be a climate. So Rabbi Yehuda lived in a place which there are no such thing of grapes. Now, right after Sukkot, you can have grapes. But how do you have grapes? Chanukah, how do you have grapes? Pesach. We have this because we bring from California. We bring from California. It's a global economy. And, we have airplanes. But even the places where you did have grown anovim, that's good for Sukkot. Wasn't a Pesach. How did he have grapes?
What did he do on Shabbos?
What?
What did everybody do on Shabbos?
About what?
Only one cup.
He used,
So one cup, nicht dalat koises.
he used the same wine. You're saying he used the same
No, come
wine.
on.
He used a Pesach on-
Yeah, the choire, same wine, yeah.
It was 1 year. It's the grape juice.
So, B'mayla, you could, nochmal, and let's make it clear. So, Lamasa mitzad adin, you could make a grape juice. But there's a but. The Mugam Vrum writes, it's not mitzvah min ha-mufchar. It's not mitzvah min ha-mufchar. Why? Because you need yain ha-mashakar. Has to be wine what makes, even though it's kusher mitzad eshkanovim, but mitzvah min ha-mufchar yain ha-mashakar. The Alter Rebbe adds on a different reason. Alter Rebbe adds on, has to be yain choshev. A wine which has alcohol is choshev. Other mitzvah must is not choshev. Maybe that's why Yeshua came in, because all the fancy wines and all the choshev wines and all the $150, $200, $300, $500 bottle wines are from 12 and up. So that's why it's chashivas. So again, it's not mufra mifcha. But the Alter Rebbe doesn't write. No, the Alter Rebbe writes the eine chushev kol kach kiyain. What does it mean? Ich have verstanden maybe it's not yaim esamayich. Yaim esamayich has alcohol. So basically, it's a beit selber nekide efsher, aber der nekide ist der Wort, der Alter Rebbe writes, der nekide ist als chashivas. But lamaasa haluchadik is mitter. What?
He also calls it
Mitzvah namufcha. Kloi, lees the mitzvah namufcha. In lamaasa, aber haluchadik, the Maril writes that his rabbi used to make a mitzvah namufcha. So again, haluchadik is mitter. Visas negaya, a person which cannot take yet wine, an elder person, a child, women, whatever he can, or a person a human being which cannot take wine, in such a case, or people which they're going to take wine, is the Gamza Siddiq Hadarom. By the second course they are already shikr, and the whole side, rather drink something which keeps you calm, keeps your children calm, they're not the Korban Pesach, and either we comes on the mitzvah, which is mitzvah menahim middle, aber noch a größer Hider is zusammen Zipis Mitzrayim, we should have to say was a mitzvah the Reise.
Someone told me the of the cheshbon is about 5%. Because wine, butter is naturally ferment too, like 20%. And then there has
mizuk. Okay, so any light wine is 5.5%. That's the Bartanira, Jova, all of them are 5.5%. And there's a reason why I push it, because that's you can still sell in a grocery. You don't have you need to have a license. That's basically the whole cheshbon.
I just saw the label says must.
What on what?
In English.
On the back it says must.
Oh, that's must.
Doesn't call wine.
Maybe it's special type of must. Maybe it is must. It's not wine. They have wine. Maybe they have some a new product.
It's a selling point.
Okay.
It sounds fancy.
Okay. Next, let's see colored wine. Yain Luvan, white wine or red wine. Now, Machlokes Rishonim, if Yain Luvan is kosher lekiddush. Machlokes Rishonim. Now, some which say it has to be red, it cannot be white. The Shulchan Aruch, what?
Rosé is considered
It's red. It's called red, yeah. The Shulchan Aruch, Lamas Shulchan Aruch Messiah. The minig is, as we pass in the Shulchan Aruch, the minig is karamam as a kosher lekiddush. The Rambam passes, over here the Rambam is faked before. Over there the Rambam was a machmer by Yain Mevishel. But over here the Rambam says Yain Luvan is lekiddush. In the Machaber Paskin, that it is, that's the minig. But, that's bekiddish. But in the Pesach, steht in Halacha, and Alter brings it down, mitzvah lachzer acher yain udam. It's a mitzvah to have red wine. Again, it's kachiv, it's a mitzvah. And the Tiruzuver says, what's the reason? Because it should be zeiche to the blood, which Paroi bathed in Yalda, in the dam von Yalda Yisrael. Aber, mit ein Tanai, you don't have other wine which is mishubach. That means if you have a white wine which you like, and you have to take red because of this gila, rather take a white wine which you like, if your person likes Miskata Dasta, whatever, and he doesn't like red wines, so just because of the Zach, is nicht kedai. Because again, you see by all the three halachas, whatever you like, this preference. Has preference, whatever you like. Chazal wanted that you should enjoy the wine of Kiddush. Now, some people will take white wine, which they like, and they'll pour in a drop of red wine, it should become red. That's an issue. That's a problem of halacha. That's an issue, a halachic issue.
What if you put in the red first?
No, and by the zacher, if the whole kavan is only because of coloring, it's a problem. You could do it. Aim tzvi ba'al is only when kavanose is you want to give. You have the taste that you want to mix two wines. You have grape juice. You want to have grape juice with seltzer. You want to have red and white wine. You want to mix. But when you don't want, you want the white, but you only make it the color. That's also an issue. That's also an issue when you have a baby bottle. You want to give him water, and you put in a drop just to color it. You should think that is grape juice. This is a problem in Shabbos V'Yom.
Even if you put in,
even no difference before or after, it is the issue. How much is the shear of Dalat Koises? What is the shear of Dalat Koises? Is the first question somebody asked me when I walked in today from Mecha Ma'ariv. What is the shear? What is the shear of the kois? Now we know shear of Dalat Koises. A kois has to be a revius. Revius. What is a revius? Baitze mechze, 1.5 eggs. Now how much is it in our language? How is our language? What is it in our language? Baitze mechze. Now if you take an egg, full up a pail of water. Yeah.
Kingston Coast has 3 sizes of eggs.
Okay. Put in. Okay. Bites binary. Put it in. See how much water falls out. That's how you check the water. But Lamasa, the Gdoli did it for us. So we have a famous machlokes of if the eggs became smaller than we had once. An egg, we know exactly what an egg is. So everybody could take an egg and take egg and a half and measure it. So that's what Chaim Nur says, Lord is katni, the egg is the same as it was. And we take and he measured. And it is 86 grams of liquid is a revius. He gets a simon, kois. Kois begematri 86. 86 grams, which is in ounces, about 3 ounces. A little bit dropped than 3 ounces. 3 ounces cup is kosher, the kiddush, that's fine for Dalit Koises. What? 2.9. A little drop than.
Small, medium, or jumbo?
So, medium. Fine. Yes, kim the chazane, the noidbida. Noidbida says, niskatni abaitzim. The eggs which we have shrank. Our eggs are half the size of the eggs which is. Why? What's the chesh? Wie ist gekommen der Sach? Because there's 2 ways how Chazal gave us simunim. How to what is a revius, a kabayitz, a kazais. One is through baitza, one is through etzbuas, and it didn't stim. The 2 things didn't stim. So because Chazal gives us 2 ways to measure, and it doesn't fit. So he came with the noidbina, and he wants to say, our eggs became smaller, and therefore it's half. So if we have to have 86 grams, you have to double it. if you have to have whatever you have to double it because it became half. But Meile zoekt of them in who took it very strong the Chazanish. Chazanish took it very strong, and that's why in the Yeshivische Welt a lot of people what?
He said this might means half the size.
Berech half the size. Also is gibt so. Now in a groß Heilig von der Welt geht also wie der Tzalach. Es ist der Tzalach, aber wie der Chazanish took it very upon himself. But la Meise the Poskem haben sich bekabel gewesen. Sie geworden a fremde Welt, so therefore now, you know, when I was a Chosen, I got probably 8-9 ounces in the Becher. Now, the Becher, you saw the Bechers? The silver store want to make money. Silver is very expensive. So they make the cups bigger. So you have over here at least 3 revis, 4 revis, big cups. Lamalsa, again, the Poskim say that, but the Mishnah Berurah and some other Poskim say, if it's a deraisa, you have to be machma. So for the deraisa l'chimra. So therefore, when it comes to anything which is a deraisa, you should be machma. Comes to the Rabbana, you could be Mike. Agav, we're passing the Mishnah Berurah. Agav, his son, the Chofetz Chaim's son writes that he asked his father, as gepasst Mishnah Berurah, that for a deraisa you have to have double, and you have a small cup. It says, weiß nicht, also man tate geteen, and finished. So therefore, we see that the Chofetz Chaim is going for Chassidische Yid. After all, that he gegangen mit Rabbein Tam till the end of his life with a gartel, because so again, Chassidische Yid, it's the mung. And he said, also man tate geteen, and drei Mensch gekap. So, but Akapunam, also a groß heilig von der handige Welt is when it comes to the rices, der Machmer comes to the Rabun is Michael Lamasa. In Chabad, that man weiß ich nicht, man zungen nehmen, mit Eibig. But Chaim, no, this is the shit. But if a person does want to be a Machmer, this year is not an Indian, Daleko is not a Drabunan. Sometimes when Pesach falls on Shabbos, Kost Shel Kiddush is Yesh Omer Masas Adaraisa. So therefore, Kiddush are people who are Machmer. The people who are Machmer by the Rises will be Machmer by Kiddush. Rakmunam, Dalat Koises is 3 ounces is good enough.
If your cup is small,
Now, what?
The cup is only 2 ounces. Can you fill it up twice?
No, you can't. It has to be a revis. It has to be. It's not a coin. It has to be a revis. Yeah. So la masa, 3 ounces, especially for children, it's more than enough. You know, you don't have to give big cups because no, yes, but there's a downside of having a big cois. You want to be machmer, well, it's fine, because Pesach steht, the Alter Rebbe brings it down la locha. You should drink out the whole cost. Although lemas la locha paskemat rav revius is angit rav cost rav revius, but the Alter Rebbe writes Pesach do Indian you should drink the whole cost, and the Alter Rebbe writes rather you should have a smaller cost and finish the whole cost than having a bigger cost and not maybe to fill up the full cost.
One gulp?
So what?
In one gulp, we could stop.
No, I can't stop them, but it darf sein in ein...
Usually on Shabbos you can take a few, you're supposed to do 2.
Auch nicht. Das ist auch nicht. Darf sein, es ist nicht so push it, you should take.
It's more of a donkey.
Yeah. It's nicht so push this. Es darf sein within Kdash Revius, which is 10 seconds.
How should we do it?
You drink it in one schluck. Yeah. Aber Akapunam zurückgehen zu den Kindern. So Bamaila, rather have a smaller cost which you'll be able to drink the whole cost, and the same is with children, and for the women, then either they should have a bigger cost and they only drink half or 3/4. Although mit Zadaluch is good, but the Poskim include so Indian Pesach should drink the full cost.
Instant kosher was on glass bechers 4 ounces.
Okay, fine. Again, b'shas atchag is Rav Revius also. You have all the people which cannot drink that much. Rav Revius is angit. Now, what people which has the shaila already every year, this year I have it already twice. People who cannot drink wine at all. They're allergic. There are still people which cannot drink wine. Mitzad refuah, mitzad health. Then, in such a case, there's such thing as called a shechnor chamar medina. Which chamar medina, the whole thing, Alter Rebbe is not so keen of the whole chamar medina, especially today's day that we have wine. Chamar medina is basically only when you don't have wine. So today's day when there's wine, the whole making kiddush on mashka, we know that's one of the biggest problems is because it's not chamar medina. But akapunam, Pesach Banacht, you have no choice, is Bamaila. Such a person should drink Chamar Medina. What is Chamar Medina? Zung the Poskim Azoi. coffee or tea, heißt Chamar Medina. That means Chamar Medina means what you be mechabat someone who comes to you. Please, you keep on. Let me. When I finish the whole shiur and I didn't mention something, then you're gonna ask questions. Write it down and give out notes.
No.
So again, coffee or tea, and how hot should it be? It shouldn't be too hot, but it shouldn't be cold. It shouldn't be too hot because then you cannot drink it constantly. Darfst du kennen trinken kedai shtis revius, which again, Alter Rebbe passes in Yom Kippur is 10 seconds. So therefore, but it cannot be cold because you're not mechabat someone with cold coffee. And maybe today's day different. Okay, so by my reason the posting which should be loop. So yes, also we can drinken and not cold and not hot. It should be comfortable to drink. Should drink in babas achas. Or orange juice will be natural. Not concentrated. Concentrated is a problem. If you have a natural orange juice, zoeken the poiskem as it is mechamar medina. Not from concentrated. Regular this. In Kemif, the bracha will be a shahakli and not more piagufa. But that's in such a rare case where somebody has no option. He cannot drink. That's something else. Then you go. But other than that, Kemif, that's not. Yoid al kosis. Yeah, mechamar medina.
There's a whole sinners of an argument.
Mishayin le'ayin, exactly. But I didn't. Yeah, that's one of the things I want to say. If you don't have wine or you're allergic to wine, but since there's no such thing as mishayin le'ayin, so therefore, when I talk to Russia, yeah, Allah.
What about apple cider?
I'm just my apple cider also goes in this category.
Mashke is not permitted.
No, Pesach.
Pashke, Pesach. Okay.
Other types of wines.
And you ask, he doesn't want me to answer.
It's not things which I'm going to. It's not. I have no issue. People ask, but
Hear it now.
questions which is going to be addressed. There's no point. No. Beferish nicht. And not only that, I mean, liegt in Kopf. As Reb Cheskel wrote, wanted to say Coke, and all the Chroim says that's billige Wahn, that's billige Mashke. People drink it, but that's not as which you're going to be mechabat, and it's not.
So, like wine, pomegranate wine, or apple wine, or cider, it's all.
Ob se Chamar Medina, then yeah, is Chamar Medina. Okay, Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim is the mitzvah of the night. Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim means not necessarily saying Dvar Torah in Chazering Sichas. That's not Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim is to sit with your children and explain what is a Eivet, what Klal Yisrael was, giving Mosholem which she could relate to it, showing, like the clinic ladies or whatever, or the Shchoyrim once upon a time, the cow pickers. I don't know. But explain it you should understand what it means a slave, and how Klal Yisrael was, and what the Rebbe Yisrael did for us, and what happened that we went out and became the chosen nation. Das meint Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. Sie heraufbringen den Kinder. People spend the whole Seder with Dvar Toras. So the children are bored. They are looking at the pictures, which is Ochgit, Abarakapurim. That's not Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim Mitzvah Seder Reise. Some Sofer writes, rather you should not eat. He's busy that the people do not eat Shulchan Aruch because they want to eat the Afikoyman. He says eating Afikoyman lifnei chatzos is a minik. Eating Shulchan Aruch is a mitzvah Seder Reise. Shulchan Aruch is mitzvah, and it says also Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim is Seder Reise. So people sometimes do all give. Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim is now this with the Kinder. The Kinder don't verstehen. Und das meint, wenn Ewe, das meint, rausgegangen, Gadlas was the Rebbe did for us. Noch mehr the Poskim suchen nach your own Yitzis Mitzrayim. If you had a problem, you were sick or whatever, a rausbringen was the Rebbe, the Chesed from the Rebbe. Das ist Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. That's a chiyuv and mitzvah Esed Reise. That's the mitzvah of the night. And therefore, it's kedai, people should have this in mind. People go sometimes to the in-laws. Now the in-laws, he runs the show. The guy to the side that runs the show, but of the Einike. If it's a father's father, yeah, he has a chiyuv. Ben Achaben hat ja a chiyuv. Also wie ich das Teure is auch für Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. Aber ich muss the ganze mitzvah, wo ich mit beschlichen. So if you go mit the in-laws, hat sicher nicht kann, my daughter's child, habe ich nicht gekauft. So therefore, instead of the Tate, was ist Leben gesehen, reden mit dem Masbazan, that's mit Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. And people are busy with the Vartoiras, which is very nice. Chazan Sichas in ganze Mamurim, but that's not Sipi Tzis Mitzrayim. That's good when adults, that's good Shabbos in the morning by the Seder, but the Chlayla Seder is gemacht for the children. You should ask, you should answer, They should visualize the Nikida. You should bring us a rausbringen, as a verstehen, what is mine, as jeden rausgegangen von Mitzrayim.
What's wrong with that? I understand. It says, "Veidatem levanecha, v'yivnei
No, Levanecha, that's einiglich.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's only a son. That's only Ben Achaben. This is what I said. Ben Achaben is the Zayde Mekayim, the mitzvah. But if it's a Doris son, there's no mitzvah.
Is not the whole point of Gada that you do the chiyuv through saying?
Kimevin does the Giden, aber 70 Mitzrayim, Kimevin, this is schon geworden.
You have the chiyuv. If you just do that Gada, you're good, right?
Fine, okay, but again, the Iker Mitzvah, there's, again, this is
Say the kids don't understand.
mit an Neshuma.
Saying the kids don't understand.
Okay, Nachman, the mitzvah is to say in their God. The Alter Rebbe says exactly what you need to say, what you don't know, where you need to skip, which Alter Rebbe gives a little bit more when it was COVID, and I made a whole regime of what you have to. Shlichim had these problems, so what you have to, what you don't have to. The Mishabiri is Mr. Meir Michael gives a smaller portion what you need to say. The Alter Rebbe has a bigger portion. Yeah.
What does the shliach tell to people who come to his table? He has to tell the father that's sitting there, you have to talk to your kids. How does he get the guy to do it? He wants to talk, but the guy has his own mitzvah.
Okay, but you're talking about people who don't know what to talk. So better there's a shlich reden wie the Tate.
He completely missed the mitzvah?
The shliach.
He brought his kid to hear. Someone should hear.
Somebody should hear. Yeah, get here.
Like you have a mitzvah.
Aber ich will rausbringen
Some
deine kids.
people are in the middle. They can do something. If
Okay.
you tell them,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
He has to know his crowd. He has
Yeah.
to know
Okay. The next mitzvah is mitzvah Esed Daraisa is Achilas Matzah. The next mitzvah is again is mitzvah Esed Shon Achilas Matzah, eating matzah in Pesach mitzvah Esed Daraisa. There aren't bisman hazeh noch a mitzvah Esed Daraisa was misbechaim mit Achila. I'm so versucht once besmig shkvurv geworden. The hefts of a mitzvah to eat is nicht du. The mitzvah fin sickes to eat like a size, aber es nach hefts is einzigste mitzvah am gedenken ist mitzvah Esed Daraisa is es like a size. First of all, darf man gedenken, you have to have kavur as a mitzvah because by the Reise mitzvah trichs kavuna. If not, you have to eat over again. A kazais kavuna. Like a mitzvah, but the Reise mitzvah is kavuna. You have to say it over again. Now, what is the shir of achilas matzah? What is the shir of achilas matzah? Again, with the Reise is this achiev of ein kazais. What is a kazais? Chutzi baitza. How much is a chutzi baitza? Again, we have the same mechloikas, and over here is a little bit different also, because there is a thing which you have to realize, and also it's k'day you should know for all year round. How do we make a cheshem of a gezayis? Now, the Ashkenazim go according to the nefach. Nefach is not the weight. Why do I say it? Because Rav Chaim Noah goes according to the weight. We don't go according to the weight. The Ashkenazim do not go according to the weight. Rav Chaim Noah goes, he was a roof for the Sfardim, and also, kids are not a cheshem why, but be'emes, and also it's much easier when you go to weight. But Hakaponam, we are going according to the nefach. And there's a big difference, nefach, volume, exactly, volume. And that's why you look in the Kazai's book, there's a famous Kazai's book from Rabbi Bodner, which is, I would say, every person which is a mamash achoiv kudish to have that house. So there's in English, there's Lishna Kodesh, because over there they have actual sizes of all the foods, kamat, popular foods. How big is the Kazai's? What we think we cannot make a alamichyu, or we cannot make a burcha achroine because it's too small. Over here you put the spretzel on the actual size page and you're going to see much less than we think you can make a bracha. Why? Because we are going according to the nefach. Now again, we all know 28 grams, that's a gezais. But again, that's if you go according to the volume. But we don't go according to the value, we're going to the weight. We're going according to the value. And that's why he gives you also charts how to deal with it. And if anybody is a member, by the way, in the Kasha magazine, I know there are some over here. They have on the Pesach dish. They have also charts with boxes that you should be able to measure it. But again, let me just. So according to the shitta, what we go, it is if you have 15 grams of. Again, according to 15 grams of matzah is a kezais. According to Rav Chaim Noah over here, you need to have 27 grams. Much a bigger shear. Jetzt azoi. Lechoire, you have 15 grams of matzah, that's enough. Before I mentioned, when it comes to other rices, some people, and I want to speak, Lord, even for them too, because after all, there's a lot of people who listen to the shiur, who shall not anash, and I want to talk to them too. The people, there are people, as I mentioned before, people are machmer by the rices, and when it comes to Pesach matzah, a grois chalik from the Chassidus Olam will be machmer to have a bigger sheep because it's the rice. So according to this, you need to have 30 grams. 15 grams is a kazais. The skatli abaitsim, you need to have 30 grams. Fine. Now, we know that the Alter Rebbe writes, and Shechanur Shtayz, the Alter Rebbe Paskins, we eat 2 kazaisim. Correct? Being the shal is achilas matzah, in the Veleche Mishnah, the kazais from the upper, kazais from the middle. Yeah, that's the minik. So now, in such a case, since we eat b'maile 2 kazaisim, is if you're going to come to the slach, according to the Chazon Ish, but the rice is double, you know how much you need to eat? A full matzah. Because let me make it clear. The shear of a kazayis, a regular matzah, is going to be a quarter of a matzah. It's 15 grams. A quarter of a matzah. According to the Chazon, the Noidibida, it's going to be a half a matzah. That's 1 kazayis. So since you eat 2 kazayis, you have to eat a full matzah. You know what it means? A full matzah. So, people will take a ganze bunch of matzah because the second rights, but they don't realize that this we have 2 kazayis is a drabonan. So since when you take a half a matzah, you take 30 grams, hast du mjoitze gewein mit der Reise 1 kazayis, mit der drabonan, mit der Regel, aber bechaim nur shit, hast du jetzt ein Beis kazayis. So you don't need more than a half a matzah, the maximum. Chappes sich zug. Although you want to be a machmer, like the Noidibide, to have 2 kazayis, the skat nashirim, but the deraisa. So therefore, once you have 30 grams, you covered the rice, the rabun, and the Chazon Ish, the Noidibide, all shit is still. So you don't have to take a full matzah.
The quarter of time of size is 27 grams.
27 grams. So kimt es aus. Chutzi Beize kimt aus.
Up to the bottom, should we have closer to 40 grams?
Yeah, but again, we don't go to the Mechaim according to this thing.
Only for this we don't follow.
No. There's other things also we don't follow. This is one of the things. So again, therefore I want to make it clear that this is the Nekidus Advurim. You want to eat more matzah? I'll find a oil. But you have to remember, you have all the people. You have people, therefore, you have people who cannot eat too much matzah. So therefore, it is a thing that we eat. We'll get to the Chalai Chilus Pras. So I didn't know it would be such a big oilam. I once got this from Raim Masikim. Raim Masikim is an organization for diabetics. And he made a chart, it's not so clear, but I had the original, which made it, you see, Alabais Gimel Dalat. That's about half a matzah. A pupatzela matzah, because it's thin, it's bigger and thin. The other matzahs, Kronite matzahs, is smaller and it's thicker. So automatically it comes out a kapunim. So, wo ist die gemacht? Sehr schöne Sache. Und ich habe es geteilt schon von Menschen, die haben es gedacht, a guy, called me up, a guy is diabetic, what is the shear? I have it a PDF, I send it to him. So he made, you see, if you want to buy 2 kazaysim, that's already, see, you're right. Ashir lemoitzi matzu, alavais gimel dalat. Ashir lafikoyman, alavais gimel. Ashir lekoirach, alav bais. So you gave the shear, ich habe es gemacht für copies, but ich habe gesehen, ist du aggressor all ich habe. Ich kann es always sending out the PDF. But akaponam, why do I saying it? Because me get matzah, noch einmal, it's not a problem. You know, it's only $5 a matzah. But that's not the problem. The problem is poshet. The problem is poshet, ben sheken shessen. Because after this streikes item, you still have a koirach, you still have afikoyman, and when it comes to and if you eat afikoyman when it's kotzboy, then it's not shoytzig. So again, that's why I'm saying it. You should know what you have to do. It's smaller, but it's thicker. So again.
So when you make the Ziploc bags to give out to the family, and they want you to make the share, how much am I?
The best zach is given. The best zach is if you want to do it, take such a thing.
Not the kaira. They want to do the kazaks.
Okay, so go ahead. You could give them according to this. Make the. Ich can the grams. Some people go according to the gram because it's much easier, but you can't go according to the gram because if you go according to the gram, it's much.
So you
much
can't
bigger.
Take a box and say this. I found 10 matzahs in here, and the box is 1 pound because they sold to me for 1 pound. So I'll divide.
That's true. It is a pound, but again, guys should become pounds.
That goes by
weight. Now you have to eat the kazayas, but achilas pras. That's also important. So you have to eat the kazayas by achilas pras. You have to eat it. How much is the achilas pras? So the achilas pras means a shear. How you eat a half a bread, so to speak. Achilas pras means half a bread. How much is it in minutes? A big machloikas, you have the same machloikas in Hilchsim Kippur, in a lot of other places, in Tishbov. Now the Tzemach Tzedek writes the Gabel Chimra, the Tishbov Yom Kippur, that you have to wait with the Achilas Pras. So the Tzemach Tzedek says about 7 minutes, 6-7 minutes. The Tzemach Tzedek says right 6 in the Agos, right 6-7 minutes. But again, that's the Chimra there. It goes much lower. There are places which say 2 minutes. But the Lamasa in Sefer HaManugam, Maser in Sefer HaManugam steht, Loi puches b'shloishu minuten, v'lo yoyser hashiva minuten. Also steht in Sefer HaManugam, our Sefer HaManugam. That means, but Lamasa, the Askuma, ich besuche Eibig, you should eat it at least within 4 minutes. It shouldn't take longer.
The time starts when you start chewing or when you swallow?
The time starts when you start chewing, when you start taking in your mouth. And
6, 7, 4.
it goes, because there's a machlokes. There's some soifer which write 9 or 11. But then again, then the Yom Kippur, which is the Chimra. Over here the Chimra is less. So since you talk about the Reise, so I can put if a person could do it at least within 3 minutes is the best. But most of them within 4 minutes. Again, 3 minutes. It's not gefährlich, you know. The other when you eat, the Achilas Pras is not necessarily over here. It's by Yed Suda. If you wash and you don't eat the Gizai Achilas Pras, that's in the shirt again Friday night Sida. No, in a challah, it's very little. In a challah and a bread, it's very little. A piece of dus, and you eat it no time. Matzah is harder to eat, and it's not. That is hyped from the problem. But you have to remember, you have to eat. People eat a small piece of challah, and then they go out serve the fish, and then they eat the rest of it. I'm sure it's again. So misen erst next time before. Do ze extra. Ich kann rein nicht das time. Dat bei uns ist der Guy, weil inside der nach erstmal Meile akabait. Shabbos nach das Tamas wird man auch denken. Okay, you wrote up as you're right. Kann uns nicht der Guy für uns, aber ich will sagen, also gerecht. Also ein Mensch will essen nur Gesais. Will essen nur Gesais. Da machen wir das da, man kann schwach kann bruchen. Berge soll natürlich da. Nein, how much you can make. We can make a little drop. Berge müssen darf sein Gesais. But he cannot make al-natilis yadayim if he doesn't eat the kabaitza. So people who only eat, who are allergic, they only eat the gezayis, Shabbos, zan yoytze the mitzvahs esef in achile b'Shabbos, because gezayis, but you cannot make a bruch al-natilis yadayim. You can wash the hands, everything, without a bruch. Erchatz in Odin. The what?
2 achilas.
No. 9. The bites, the gezayis doesn't have the achilas plastic. Bites are nicht.
No, the Beit is 2 achilas.
Rabbi Schusterman gave a shiur. He said that California. He said it starts when you swallow.
Usepes.
I don't know.
Usepes. From when you swallow.
That's when it starts. From the first swallow.
It's probably maybe
Chewing. Don't have to nachila. A person which is old and cannot eat regular matzah, you could take the matzah, put it in a bag, take a cup or a bottle, and break it up all the way, and eat it like this, like when it's a matzah meal. No, you could do it. No, it's matzah meal, and you could do it. Yeah. Andere person you could soak it some in the water, but again, it's not the guy we are makvat of Sharia. People will not. If you have to, you have to. Okay, but then if you have to, them shall sell the luch. If you have to, no, you can only in water. Maybe you cannot because then it's matzah shira. Has to be with this. You cannot nothing other than water. And water has to be shria water, but it has to be the whole kazais in one time. Has to be because if you make smaller pieces, it becomes white. Falitas tirs apas. It's complicated. So therefore, putting it in water. You can take the whole kazayis and put it in, and you cannot leave it to become mamish moshi, just softer. But again, it's not practical. People do not do it. People, my Rebbe's puperuvs chizig in the line. I remember they said they used to do this. They used to put it in the bag, in knock on the doors. Yes. You have to eat basaiva, and if you got to eat the kazayis but shloi basaiva, then you should eat another kazayis basaiva again. We pass the Alter Rebbe. Mura. Let's go to Mura. Let me just finish because the time is late. Let's go to Chilas Mura. Now, we just spoke about achilas matzah, which is a mitzvah d'oraisa. Achilas murim b'zman hazeh l'chol hadayis is only adrabona. Yeah, only adrabona. So first of all, mitzvah min hamifcher, you should have murer Roma letters. That's mitzvah min hamifcher. In the Lushan is Al Rebbe like tzii, as you should even you should buy it bedumam yikurim, even if it costs a lot more. Mitzvah min hamifcher, you should have Roma letters. But you have to one thing to remember. If you take Roma letters, you have to make sure it's clean from worm. Because you don't want to do a mitzvah, Habu Ba'avayre, which is 6 lavim, 5 lavim, 6 lavim, depends. So, which has worms, then it has to be, or you buy the one which is, you buy it already, pre-washed and what? Bedumam mikurim, like you said. Or you or your wife check it, if you know how to check it, and then that's fine. But it's mitzvah to have Roma letters. Now by us, is the Rebbe Shrab Klur in Sefer Menugam, we take also Charain and also Roma letters. We take also, not only Roma letters, or call Mitzad Halucha, just Roma letters will be fine, but we take Roma letters and Charain, and they're together, Mitztarav Lekazais. It's Mitztarav Lekazais. You don't have to need from one together, it's a Gezais. What do you eat? You're going to ask a question, Roma letters is so bitter? The answer is, as when you leave it, after a while, it becomes bitter. And that's why now, when we take it, it's still fresh. It's fine. Especially the klach, the middle, once it gets older, gets harder, it becomes very bitter. And that's, during the Pascha, that's exactly like in Mitzrayim. In the beginning, it was still sweet. You could have eaten it. It was, Mitzrayim was beferach. Then they became harsh, and then, So therefore, that's the reason Roma letters is a mitzvah and a mifcha.
Why don't we eat it?
What?
Why don't we eat it?
No, steht dat bedacht schwarz abnehmen.
Only overgrown, not in the ground, overgrown.
Overgrown. Yeah. Now what is the shear? Yeah. So what is the shear of Achilles Mutter? What is the shear of Achilles Mutter? Now again, we are going according to the nefach, not according to the mishkel. It is 27 grams because the nefach is different matzah. You understand? Than letters. It's 27 grams. But if you could have it, again, you don't need to go with that. But if you want, if mikan ochad, if it's schwer, you can eat also 70 grams. That should be fine. This tight. The Chaim no in Sharatin, noch a Seifer Sharatin, so to 70 grams also get. What is it in our, again, practical? I don't know what letters you have. If you buy by Aldi's, you have the big ones and you check it. One big letter, it is already a kazais. One big letter is a kazais, if it's the big ones.
One leaf.
One big leaf, yeah. If you take the bainanim, the leaves which are smaller but it's not small, bainanim, then it's oskimen about 2 pieces. If it's small ones, then you need about 5 pieces. So again, if you take the middle, the klach, 2 big ones or 4 small ones. Again, I will not bring the ochem. We get people, don't have enough. Roma letters, if you have big letters, 1 letter will be a kazais, especially if you put still in the charain, the chsava, noch mehr. And if you have medium size, 2 pieces is already kazais. And again, it's another drabunan, so you don't need to have this big. The kazais. It should be, in the Rebbe used to do like this. The Rebbe used to make it as a bowl. The Rebbe used to make a bowl, a hard bowl. Auskretsch of the zaft. It's going sharp. Then he used to take a leather, put it around, and ate it like this. This is a große shear, by the way. It was a big shear, a große. The Rebbe used to squeeze out the water from it. Yeah.
Plus, you would add.
A kapunam, and also try to make it. You shouldn't lose. Sometimes people do it. Some of people do it, beforehand, and by the time comes to say there is garnish with garnish. It should stay sharp. Yeah.
So grain, we want it to be sharp, but the less we don't care.
We don't care. Yeah.
Why? Well, why do we care?
Weil dort the bitterness, the chilik from bitterness is sharp. That's the chilik.
That's the only thing it has.
Yeah. Afikoyman. Now, that's for the Blues Ben Azaria. The Blues Machlokes Shishon Blues Azaria mit Rabbi Akiva. The Blues Ben Azaria says that Korban Pesach is Nechel Ad Chatzos. The Blues Ben Azaria says nechel korban Pesach and nechel at chatzos. Since matzah is huksha le Pesach, so therefore you eat the kezayis matzah lifnei chatzos. Again, midaf makbed zan to eat the kezayis, the first kezayis lifnei chatzos. If you didn't eat Amshon of Rebbe, or the Chweis where einer hat sich verparvet mit Sipsis Mitzrayim, and it's after Chatzos, according to Roif, Rebbe Kekille Poiskem, hold that you should eat a kezayis, but you don't make a bracha. After Chatzos you don't make a bracha. In our own Menachem Eisman, Rav Menachem Eisman, wrote a beautiful bitter in the new Orisu which just came out, and he wants to be Medayik from the Alter Rebbe, that according to the Alter Rebbe, if it happens to be that if Chatzos Agam, it's not too practical, I assume by all of us, but again, was very nice article which he wrote, is a Leibire that if, according to the Alter Rebbe, is Medayik for a poor places, the Alter Rebbe doesn't say it clear, is even after Chatzos all night you can make a bracha al achilas matzah, but again, according to other poskim, it's clear not like that. Alter Rebbe, you can have a Medayik zan. So again, don't come to such a situation that you'll have this issue, and you have to eat the kezayis matzah lifnei chatzos. What's doing about afikoyman? Do you have to eat the afikoyman och lifnei chatzos or not? Now, the Alter Rebbe writes that you should eat the afikoyman even at lifnei chatzos. Again, it's not the selbe chiv the erste kezayis, but Alter Rebbe sagt, and that's why our minig in minig Chabad is that the first night, which is be'etzim the ikir mitzvah of the Seder, as me makve the erste nacht, you should eat the chatzos. The second night, I'm schon schmackmet gewesen. The first night, I'm gewesen lief chatzos. So again, if you can do it, yes, you can do it. Or again, I want to go back to what I said before. Simplicis Messiah said Reise, eating lief chatzos is hakle moedim nora drabunum. And maybe even shulchan aruch. So again, we should juggle it. That shouldn't be of a cheshbon to eating lief chatzos, shouldn't be of a cheshbon for Simplicis Messiah. This is the one I want to bring it down. Fine. Oh, I just geredet for the Menachem. Vergesucht, dass der Kitchille darf man essen, man miss essen der Matze lifnei Chatzos. After Chatzos, according to most Ribe Poiskem, you don't make a bracha, but Menachem Mavare gewein, as according to the Alter Rebbe, you can still make a bracha. But don't let yourself into this problem and eat it lifnei Chatzos b'chol layis. Another thing which is very important, if you eat all the kezayis and you eat shulchan aruch, and you come to eat af a koyman in bis kotzbach iluso that you want to vomit, was the shpekayim go in the mitzvah. So, achuch am eine beroisha, you shouldn't be in a place that basically he forces it in, with a plunger into his, after af a koyman, it's also to eat lekila alma, shloi levatel tam af a koyman. Drinking you could, is a machloikes, la lucha in the mamachma nish drink, gits wasser make me up, a lucha make me drink wasser, but again, minik chabadis, we don't drink even water after Afikoyman. Nothing. Halal zug der mu. Lekitchila, you should say the halal lifnei chatzos, because halal comes because of Korban Pesach. The halal, you say halal because of Korban Pesach at night, and since Korban Pesach was only at chatzos, halal was after chatzos. But lamasa shrab the Rebbe klur ein munegayni lahakpet bezeh, because someone is the minig. So therefore, don't drive it the ganze side. And again, I want to stress this. Mitzvah sibs Israel is the reise. Eating af koyim lifnei chatzos is nicht kan reise, and saying halal lifnei chatzos is avad nicht kan reise. Don't give up sibs Israel because of these things. And the Rebbe helfen ke my tzayis gereis Israel in the floor. Since I'm so gesagt to eat the Korban Pesach this year. Be'ez Hashem esburch in Shleim and HaKodesh. To bune was sie wollen, bis sie können, meine Mamash.